So, very good afternoon to the children of class 12 arts. Am I audible properly, children? Children, am I audible properly? Okay, thank you. So, yesterday we have done up till the political parties we were doing that Congress domination we were doing, isn't it? Era of one party domination, I have told you the page numbers also. We have done up till, I remember, I have done up till page number 36. 36. Now we will go to page number 38 and 40. Page number 30 and 30, page number 38, then 40, 42 and 43. Tolerance and management of factions. So we can see that the Congress had emerged as, a coalition, an ideological coalition. The reason also I have told you yesterday that, during that time no other party was to that level. Because Congress had that legacy where it could have, where the Congress had actually, it has served as an umbrella. It was not regarded as a party. In fact, it was regarded as a platform. And yesterday I have also discussed about that what is the difference between one party dominance in India and that of Mexico, Spain, Syria or China, all the other countries where there is one party dominance. So in India it took place under a democratic system, whereas in other places you can find that it took place in a non-democratic setup. Now today we will do that part, tolerance and management of factions. So you see that the coalition-like character of the Congress, there were many factors which gave it a strength. Why the Congress as a coalition? Why it as an ideological coalition? Why did it exist? There are certain reasons behind it. First of all, a coalition accommodates all those who join it. Therefore, it has to avoid any extreme position and strike a balance on almost all issues. So it was what, first of all, the thing was that it was like a coalition, and it had the capacity to accommodate all other differences which had existed during that time. Clear? It was accommodative. Accommodative means it accepted all the differences which have existed during that time. Even if it was in their ideology or whatever, people had joined in large numbers, and Congress has also given full-fledged, I'll say that, acceptance to them. Secondly, in a party that has the nature of a coalition, there is a greater tolerance of internal differences. So as that time Congress was like a coalition, so what happened, people from all walks of life, that means starting from a rich person to a poor person, starting from an educated to an uneducated person, everyone, it was of all religions, it had accepted them all. Clear? It became like an umbrella which gave protection or shelter to all the groups. And together with that, as it was a coalition, so what was required was that it had to accept the differences which had existed. And together with that, as I've already told you before, that the Congress was actually not regarded as a party that time. It was actually regarded as a platform, and all of them, whether it was the upper class, whether it was the middle class, whether it was the poor class, every one of them, they have been a part of this particular political party, because it had that legacy. As you know that Congress had played a very, very important role in providing independence for India, because it was the leading party during the time of independence. Clear? So now together with Congress parties, now we can see that slightly, we can find that there a number of opposition parties have also coming up. Before later, whenever I have taught you this chapter, that is chapter last chapter which I have taught you, that is resurgence of democratic order, there only you have learned that many opposition parties have come up, and in this chapter you can see that how one by one small opposition parties had made their entry into India, and India has actually turned out to be a multi-party democracy. Clear? Okay. And if you remember the election results of the elections of 1952, that is the first general elections, can you tell me one party who has got 16 seats along with Congress got a majority, you know that, but there was a party who has also been able to secure 16 seats. Can you name that party? Can you name that party, please? Anybody of you? Can you name that party? Yes, very good, Ashmita. It was the Communist Party of India. Clear? So you can see that from that is, and this this is very easier for you because you have already learnt about the chapter, that particular chapter, that is chapter 6 you have already done, chapter 5 you have already done. So you can see that during the 1960s, after the death of Jawaharlal Nehru, after the death of Lal Bahadur Shastri, and when Mrs. Indira Gandhi, she comes up as the first as the prime minister, you know, after that only you can see that various non-Congress parties have started emerging. Clear? They had become very critical about the policies which had been taken by Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and it was that juncture when you have heard about, when we have already discussed about non-Congressism. Non-Congressism means all those opposition parties which were on one side, and the outcomes of that you have seen in the election results of 1967. So the 60s and the 70s, you can find that most of the political parties have become very critical of the policies and ideologies of the Congress, and various opposition parties have made their entry. Clear? Here you see on page number 42, it's written that the second paragraph, that in the first general election, many opposition leaders like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Shama Prasad Mukhopadhyay, all these, you know, they were a part of the Congress, but later on you can see that they have all broken away from there, and they have all joined the Socialist Party, and many other leaders like Jai Prakash Narayan, which you have already studied about, Moraji Desai and others, they were one by one, they were all joined, they were all coming out from the Congress, and they were actually becoming a part of the Socialist Party, which came up as the strongest opposition to the Congress Party. You have already studied about the Samyukta Vidhayak Dal. The Samyukta Vidhayak Dal was actually the opposition which was formed by all the non-Congress parties of that time, especially of the 60s and the 70s. And in this chapter also you are going to, already what we have studied, that part will also be included, that is page numbers 83 to 99. That means the fifth chapter which we have already discussed about. Clear? That is the chapter which I have already discussed about till restoration. With part of this, with this chapter, you know, together with this chapter, the chapter which I have just completed now, that is restoration of the democratic order, that is the first, elections of 1967, then the elections of 71, then the presidential elections, all which we have studied, all will be included within that. Clear to all of you? So together with the pages which I have mentioned in this chapter, the pages were, as I've told you before, 27 to 32, 35 to 36, 38, 40, 42, 43, and together with that pages numbers 83 to 99. This is actually the political system of India immediately after independence, where you can see that the Congress party has actually got a majority in the 3 general elections, in the 4th general elections, that is the elections of 1967, where you can see that the Congress have suffered a defeat in most of the 9 states, and except only the Lok Sabha, they have managed to get a majority. And together with that, you can see that the birth of many opposition parties have come up. Then you have seen that the like the presidential elections, and after how once again after the elections of 1971, the Congress was once again restored. The system of the Congress system was once again restored. So if I give you questions from this chapter, please write some questions from this chapter. Right, who became the first chief election commissioner, of India? 1 marks. It will be Sukumar Sen. Other day you have said. Right, with which method of election was taken up by India for its first election? Question mark. 1 marks. It will be universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise. Next one. What is described as the biggest gamble in history? The biggest gamble in history. This will be for 2 marks. Biggest gamble in history, it was actually the India's experimentation with universal adult franchise. Next one. When did the first democratic elections of India take place? This will be from October 1951 to February 1952. October 1951 to February 1952. Clear? Next one. What were, this will be for 1 marks. What were the results of the first general elections of India? Next one. Mention the states where the Congress could not maintain a majority in the assembly elections of 1952. You're getting it on page number 32. This will be for 2 marks. Travancore, Cochin, Madras, Odisha, these were the states. You're getting on page number 32, first paragraph. Okay, let me do it up till today here only, clear? And for your this one midterm, I told you that please go through the 1 marks type answer questions and go through the chapter in details. Okay, best of luck. And the questions which are left I will give you immediately after the puja vacations, this Diwali vacations, and 1 more chapter will be left which I will complete then. Thank you very much.